What's up, you guys? This is Shanti coming to you with another video here on my channel with Shanti J Speaks, coming to you with part 2 of my ectopic story, and we will just dive right in now. So I believe I left off with the anesthesiologist was giving me my medications and everything, and they were counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, blah 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 blah. And I told you guys, I believe I told you guys that that's when I heard them say that the baby still had a heartbeat and da 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 da, right? So fast forward, I am out of the surgery. I'm in the recovery room. I wake up from being under anesthesia, and lo and behold, I look around. I'm on a maternity ward. For some reason, I don't know whose prior idea is it to stick someone who has had a loss or an ectopic in a maternity ward, but this is where they put me. Not only did they put me in the maternity ward, but they had the bassinet in the room. It wasn't next to the bed, but it was in the room off like by where the sink was, but it was still in the room. Now, they know I just had an ectopic, surgery. A salpinectomy is what they call it when they have to remove the tube. But yet they still put a baby carriage or a baby bassinet in my room. Right? Look over by the sink. They got Johnson & Johnson's baby lotion, Johnson & Johnson's shampoo, as if I'm just going to have a real life baby in here, knowing I just came from out of a surgery for an ectopic pregnancy, right? So I tell my mom, I look over, I'm like, why did they put me on this ward? Why do they do this now? At the time, guys, you have to understand, I was very, very traumatized. Like, I was crying, I was upset, I was depressed. My hormones were still all over the place. My body was still telling, my brain cells and everything that I'm pregnant, even though I knew that I was not. So it took time for my body to catch up as far as my hormones is concerned and things like that. So I was just out of whack all around. Mind you, I had just lost my aunt like maybe 2 weeks before that. So it was just a total down spiral from there. So they did not put me on another floor, saying that they didn't have any more space, even though it was requested that from me that I move. They didn't want me to move. So I ended up having to stay there. And every single time at this specific hospital, every single time a baby was born, they would play a lullaby. And I mean, like Rockabye Baby, or like just a lullaby, not the actual song, but just the melody of it. And it just gave everybody in the hospital on that side just a notification that another baby was born, right? I probably heard this lullaby, I want to say, no exaggeration, maybe 42 times. And that's just me when I actually started to count. I had been there for 3 days because they want to monitor you after you have a removal of your fallopian tube to make sure you don't have any setbacks or things like that. So yeah, for 3 days straight, I would say about 42 to 45 babies were born. And every single time, I had to sit there and listen to the lullaby, looking at this bassinet, and just thinking about what could have been, right? So the nurse that I had for the next, I guess it was like day and a half, she came in and she was getting my vitals and everything, and she just so happened to look around and was like, oh my God, why do they have a bassinet in your room? And I said, I don't know, I was trying to figure out the same thing. And she's like, let's get this out of here. I know this is not helping you at all mentally as far as seeing this. And so she wheeled it out of there. Thank God for her, because I wasn't gonna touch it. I was just that traumatized from the whole situation that I was not gonna touch it. So it was gonna just stay in the room. I was just gonna cry my eyes out every time I looked over there and go to sleep and wake up and ask for more pain medication. Oh, speaking of pain medication, y'all. So first of all, I don't take medicine at all. I probably take my little gummy vitamins, and I take like 3 of them, and I know I'm not supposed to. You're only supposed to take 2, but I love gummies. So I take my gummies and my folic acid and my vitamin D. That's my vitamins, but not like pain medicine and nothing like that, right? So when I got to the hospital, they gave me Dilaudid. And when I say that stuff is, whew, that stuff is the bomb diggity. It is so powerful, y'all. Like, I didn't need no medicine for like 10 hours once they gave it to me, but when it wore off, I felt everything. you know, as far as the pain and just from the surgery and everything like that. So I was asking for pain medicine. They was like, well, we can't give you pain medicine too soon because it's the type of medication that you can get addicted to. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, don't nobody want to get addicted, but at the same time, the pain was just like, ooh, I need something. So they was only trying to like give me like stuff in between, like, you know, Tylenol or ibuprofen, or I think it was Tylenol 3s, maybe. I think it was Tylenol 3s, but I can't remember. I was so like out of it. But I do remember them putting that medicine in my IV, and I was able to sleep like a dream. You hear me? Just sleep like a queen. So fast forward, I am about to get discharged. The doctor comes in right after the surgery. Oh, well, before I get discharged, when I wake up from the surgery, the doctor came in that did the surgery, and she said, well, the surgery went well, that we're not going to repair the tube, that we just took it out completely. So your right side, your right tube is gone, so you only have your left tube. And then she had the nerve to say, I was going to take the left tube out too because it looked a little swollen, but I decided to leave it. You decided to leave it. So you were going to make me an automatic IVF patient, and without my consent or my knowledge, you're just going to go in and just take it, and then when I wake up, you're just going to tell me that it was gone. That's the type of stuff I don't like, y'all. So thank God spoke to her like, no, don't touch her other tube. That's not what you were in there for. Do what you came here to do and take the other tube out, right? So she told me that like the other tube was swollen or whatever, and I need to take folic acid and try to, you know, take some vitamin C for scar tissue and scarring from the surgery so that it can be less, because vitamin C actually helps with scarring and scar tissue. So if you have any scarring or if you are having a major surgery or something, start taking vitamin C. Start taking vitamin C. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. Vitamin C is what helps with scarring. Vitamin D is, a whole different ball game. We're not even gonna get into that today. But vitamin C is for scarring, and that's what she told me to take along with my other vitamins that I was already taking. She pretty much showed me the pictures in which I showed in my other videos, but for the sake of this video, I will post it here. And she basically showed me the baby and what it looked like in the tube and everything. And as you can see from the looks of this, the tube is like purplish, like it looks like it's so strained and it is stretched out. That small circle right there in the middle is the baby, and that is the tube in which it was stretched out. And so as you can see, the tube was like, please, please, somebody help me, because it looked like it was about to burst at any moment. As you can see a little bit on the side there, it's like some blood that's like skirted off on the side. That's where the rupture actually started shooting out at. Even though the hole is not visible because it's on the opposite side, you can kind of see on the wall there, on opposite of where the hole is said to be, that the blood was actually shooting out, and it was on the wall there of the whatever structure that is on the side there. So upon being discharged, they gave me some things to do, told me I had to be on bed rest and things like that. I couldn't lift over certain pounds. I couldn't lift over 5 pounds at first, and then I was to gradually move up once I had my follow-up appointments and things like that. But for the most part, I was not supposed to be lifting any heavy bags or groceries, milk, things like that, even though milk is like 3 pounds, but they told me that would be like something that will be a strain for me when I first got home. So not to lift anything when I first got home, but to start off with 5 pounds when I had to lift something, and then gradually move up with them telling me that it's okay to move up. So when I got home, everything had to be restructured because I could barely walk. The pain of the incision. As far as the incision, they had to do 3 holes. They had to do one in my belly button, one on my opposite side of the fallopian tube that ruptured. So they wanted to go in opposite of the fallopian tube that ruptured to be able to maneuver. And then they did one in my pelvic area, which is right where your pube hairs would kind of start. So it's like a triangle kind of keyhole effect, and that's what they did as far as the surgery is concerned. I was not cut open. They went through and did it through incisions, which is amazing to me, because how can you get a whole fallopian tube out with, out having to cut somebody open, which is amazing to me. But they were able to do it. It was laparoscopic, and so I still have the scars from that, unfortunately, they are not going away no matter what I use, as far as aloe vera, cocoa butter, Dettol, you name it. I've used everything for these scars and they just will not go away. So I just took it as God just wanted me to remember, you know, what happened. And it'll just be like one of my war wound scars that I'll have to, you know, carry with me. And in turn, maybe if someone in the future maybe has the same experience as me, I can lift up my shirt and say, hey, you're not alone. I went through it too. And I actually had people to lift up their shirts and show me their tummies when I was in the ER, the people that did come visit me and actually shared their stories with me. And that's when I realized that I wasn't the only person that this had happened to. And it became more home for me to understand that I wasn't the only person that this happened to. Like, you know, you can see on YouTube and you can see on Google and things like that for, you know, people that it's happened to. But when it comes to like your family and your friends, and this is like something they never shared with somebody, but they're sharing it with you because of the situation, it's just like amazing how God can bring people together, you know, under any circumstances, good or bad, you know? So when I got home, it was just, the recovery was not good, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it was not good. As far as bleeding, I bled every day. I did not bleed for my incisions at all, so I didn't have to do any care for my incisions besides, you know, make sure that they're not getting all dried out or whatever, and just make sure that I kept them clean and everything like that. But as far as the vaginal area, it seems like my body just was going through so much trauma. Like, I could not believe it. Like, this was more than like a cycle's blood. This was more like, how can I describe it? If you was to turn on a sink and you just let it trickle, but then you just lift it up just a little bit and it's just a little bit more than a trickle, that's what it felt like. It wasn't like that constantly, but when it came down, it came down. And it took me a couple days for me to actually like stop spotting. But I would say like weeks later, there was like black blood coming out. And this is like old blood. Now, brown blood is considered old blood. So when we have our cycles, you know, at the end of our cycles, it turns brown, which is basically like the rest of the lining of the uterus that was shedding, that was left up in there. It's pretty old. It's gonna come out. But this blood was black, meaning I think it came all the way from the fallopian tube itself, all the way from the surgery, traveled all the way down my body, took all that time, and then just expelled itself. And I do have a video which I'm gonna think about posting it, because I am like, I don't care about like exploring like my body and things like that. So when it came to like when things come out or when I'm looking at stuff, like when I was healing, I actually was like touching and seeing like, what is this? And I'm in the medical field, so it doesn't bother me at all. My mom says I'm gross, but I don't care, because I mean, you see everything in the medical field, from throw up to blood to slob to you name it, right? Poop, pee, you see everything. So when it comes to your own body, it's like, why wouldn't you want to know what it feels like so that you can be able to tell the doctor, well, it was a stringy like substance that came out, right? So anyway, I'm going to post that video in my next video, part 3 of my ectopic story. As far as ectopic pregnancies, I'm trying to give you guys some pointers at the end of each video as far as what signs and things or tips or whatever. So tip number 1, if you find yourself having an ectopic pregnancy, and you know you have an active ectopic pregnancy, like let's say you have an active rupture, right? If you have an active rupture in which you see blood and everything, go to the hospital right away. That's number 1. Number 2, send someone for some clothes for you, because you will be in the hospital for the next couple of days. And you don't want to be in the hospital with the clothes you came on with and that gown, okay? When you get done with your surgery, you're going to want to put on some comfortable PJs. You're going to want to be comfortable, because the hospital gets really cold and you just want to be comfortable. You don't want to just be, you don't want to feel like you're in the hospital no more, put it like that. So have someone goes to the house to get you some PJs, get you some fuzzy socks or your slippers or whatever, because you're going to be in there for at least 2 to 3 days. You're going to be showering at the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you might as well get everything that you need. You might as well make that your home for the next 3 days, because that's what you pretty much are gonna be. You know, that's what you're gonna pretty much be. I think that's it. Oh, as far as the hospital is concerned, you do have the right to tell them if you want to be moved to another room or suite, or if you want something to be removed from your room. You don't have to sit there and take the torture like I did. And it wasn't until the nurse, like I said, came in and she realized that it was in there, and she realized what I was in there for, that it wasn't a good match for me to have a baby carriage in my room. So you can just tell the nurse, hey, can you remove that? Hey, can you get that out of my room? And, you know, it's making me uncomfortable, whatever case may be. You don't even have to say that. Just say, hey, can you get that out of my room? And so when it comes to ectopic, I want you guys to be aware that it's not just like something that people say, oh, it can't happen to me. It can. And in fact, it's happening more often than we actually realize. And so when I had ectopic back in 2019, they told me that I was only 2% of people that got pregnant and had ectopics. But now I beg to differ. I think it raised up to at least 10% based on what I've seen in the fertility clinics, because it seems like more people are having ectopic pregnancies. More people are coming to get blood draws and trying to find out what their pregnancy levels are, because they can't find the baby or can't locate the baby. And let me just clear this up too. An ectopic pregnancy does not have to just be in the fallopian tube. You can have a pregnancy in the fallopian tube. You can have put it like this, an ectopic pregnancy is any pregnancy outside of the uterus. So you can have a pregnancy on the outside of your uterus. You can have a pregnancy in your cervix. You can have a pregnancy in your fallopian tube. You can have a pregnancy just about anywhere if it's not in the uterus. And if it's not in the uterus, it is considered an ectopic pregnancy. Now, the problem is they have to locate where the baby is. Otherwise, it is and can be fatal. It can kill you if it is not resolved. So doctors will most likely give you methotrexate if they feel, which is a drug that, you know, helps you to eliminate the pregnancy, and it will basically term the pregnancy, but it stops the cell development of the baby, causing you not to have any ruptures or any further growth of this baby to cause any more problems as far as your health is concerned. For me, nobody gave me the option of methotrexate. I didn't even know that was the option at the time until afterwards, when I came to the fertility clinic and they told me that they could have gave me methotrexate to save my tube. But there's no sense of crying over spilled milk, so at the end of the day, I'm stuck with one tube. I'm considered high risk, but I believe in God, so, you know, high risk, no high risk. If God wants me to have a baby, then I'm going to have a baby. If he doesn't, then I won't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with either way at this point. Guys, we are in this together. This is fertility. This is the world that we live in. At the end of the day, some people feel like, oh, you can just get drunk and throw your legs above your head and just get pregnant. No, we can't. We just can't. If it was that easy, we would have already been dead. But sometimes God has certain people that he wants to use as examples to increase our faith and in turn increase others' faith. So that's why I'm making these videos, because I'm making these videos right now as I'm sitting here not pregnant, as I'm sitting here with no children. I think I'm done. All right, guys. Until next time, keep your heart and your mind connected, because what you tell your mind, what you tell your heart, what your soul tells your mind, it's all like a trichotomy. It just all goes in one. So your soul tells your mind tells your heart, all those things, right? Starts with the soul first. So believe in your soul. If you want a kid, if you want a baby, believe in your soul first that it's going to happen, because your soul is connected to God. And from there, that belief goes to your heart. And what you put in your heart, nobody can take. And God knows the desires of your heart. So wait, let me break this down to y'all before I go. Put the manifestation in your soul. Pray on that thing, meditate on that thing. Read God's word, worship God as if you already have received the blessing. You hear me? Do not doubt it for a second. Don't look at the circumstances. Don't look at that you don't have a mate yet. Don't look at that your mate is leaving. Don't look at that you're finna have a breakup. Don't look at you're going through a divorce. Don't look at none of that. Just believe in God that you are walking this journey and He has you every step of the way. He got your back. You have to believe that in your soul. Once you believe it in your soul, it goes to your heart. And your heart opens up to receive. Your heart opens up to love the idea of what God is about to do. And God will give you the desires of your heart if you faint not, if you doubt not. So at the end of the day, the mind is the last thing, right? So your heart then tells your mind, hey, get in gear, because you are going to have a kid. So what your mind hears now is going to send a signal to the rest of the body, the shell, saying, okay, get in gear, fallopian tubes. Okay, get in gear, uterus. Okay, get in gear, cervix. Okay, get in gear, vagina, because y'all about to have a baby soon. Right? So it's just all how you project this thing. It's all how you talk to yourself. Do some positive self-talk. You are great. You are lovable. You deserve a family. You deserve a love, a life partner. You deserve this. You deserve that. Man, just keep talking and keep manifesting. Speak it and believe it. Speak it and believe it. Until next time, guys. I always say that, but I always want to keep in mind that I have to keep saying like, share, subscribe. But this video was just, whatever. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. If you want to get more content, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. And I will tune into y'all next time because I can talk forever. All right, later.